Hello and welcome back to Sounds on the Couch. I am so excited to introduce today's guest for you. We've got Saskia Lane, and we'll be hearing all about her debut single, Hide and Seek, which was released in November this year, as well as hearing all about the incredible woman behind the music. This is a woman who has a heart and soul for music and exudes a passion for self-love and creativity. And I know that there'll be so much to gain from this discussion. So let's just get her up and start chatting. Hello, Saskia.
Hi, Karen. Thank you. That's so lovely.
Thank you so much for joining us today. So let's just jump in. Do you want to maybe just tell us a little bit about your background and where you've come from in regards to your music?
Well, I certainly feel kind of new to the industry because I only started 14 months ago. Even though I was in the industry when I was younger, it was a career choice I definitely want to pursue. And then something happened in my life where I experienced a significant loss, and I kind of just shut music away. I didn't even realize I was doing it at the time, but I shut all my hopes and aspirations away. And I got off the music bandwagon and started a different life. And so it wasn't until 14 months ago that I realized that I desperately needed to get back into it, and it was my calling.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. And do you feel like having that break has sort of given you a bit of a fresh perspective on your music?
I think I was bitter for a while there because I feel like I've lost so much precious time. And then, I look at the songwriters that inspire me, like Paul Kelly, and, there's so many that are mature for their, in what they do because they've lived and they have so much life experience. So no longer let that affect me so much that I've lost time, and rather I view it as, well, now I have a lot to write songs about. So it's nice. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And so when you first started with music, I know that you said you were very into music before you had your break. What was it that first inspired you on that journey?
Oh, look, music has been a part of my life. It's like forever. It's my youngest memory is music. There was always some sort of dance or music or art. I grew up in a very free, creative family. I'm very thankful for that. So, I was trying to think of one particular memory in particular, and I remember being at a community market, and there was a cello player there, and it just did something to me where it was just mesmerizing, and it just made me feel, and like I got so emotional. I must have been like 4, I think. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a musician. So, other than that, yeah.
Was there any kind of inkling to maybe start playing the cello as well? Was that on your mind?
I never did that. I went to guitar. I hated guitar. And then my dad bought me a keyboard when I was 12, and I was on that keyboard 7 hours a day. Like, it's the best gift that I was ever brought. But I occasionally do get that urge where I'm like, I think one day I'm going to have to pick that up. So it's on the cards.
The cello.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look forward to it when you bring out your single with the cello.
I'll definitely be paying a session musician to feature one day on my song.
Absolutely. And so something that I really do love when I'm looking at your social media, you're great at posting regularly, and I love seeing on your social media all the passion that you do have towards self-love and creativity. Yeah. What do those messages mean to you when you're putting them out, and what would you like to share with the world by sharing these messages?
For me, self-love is everybody's kind of action steps that they take to be happy. It's your right to happiness. It's your birthright. Mm-hmm. Even if that comes at the expense of not having support from the people that you love, because that's not a path that they see for you. And I think that is the biggest step of self-love. It's putting yourself first before other people's expectations. You're going to be judged no matter what you do. So be judged doing something that lights you up every day. So that would be my big message. And that, you can't give from an empty cup. So I think we've been given this idea that we just have to give and give and give and sacrifice of ourselves in order to please other people. But at the end of the day, it can be a very unhappy life, and I learned that. So it had to come to breaking point for me where I realized I had to be selfish, and I had to do whatever it was that was going to make me want to live a purposeful and fulfilling life. And you're a better person for it, because you inspire people and you empower people. And that's my message now, is to give people hope and to inspire.
Oh, I love that so much. And so the creativity side, I guess, ties so much into that as well. But what does the creativity mean to you?
Well, I think, we have a bit of an advantage as musicians to be able to process our emotions with a creative outlet like songwriting. It's a beautiful thing. And I don't know what I would have done without it the last 14 months. It's been my therapy. And, I see so many women in particular who want to be creative and they just feel like they don't have it in them, or they're scared. And I totally relate to that, because I was one of those people, and that's why I didn't do it for so long. But it's like this. It's like this love for yourself is this big cuddle that you feel when you can just express yourself fully. And it comes from somewhere really deep that you didn't even know existed. So creativity has been shut out, I think, for a lot of adults as well, because we just feel like it's just not an option. We should be being sensible. And
and I think if there are artists or anybody who's watching this who might be sort of feeling shut off to creativity, what are some things that you think that they could do to kind of start to draw that out a little bit?
Yeah, look, I don't want to lose people, but I would say the nervous system is the key. Yeah. I've done a lot of educating the last 14 months on how the nervous system and that fight and flight mode that we can go into in everyday life can actually shut down the creativity center in the body. Yeah. So, being aware of that, like, have you got anxiety? Have you got depression? Are you feeling like you're stuck? It's not your fault. Your nervous system is frightened to move forward. And it's about finding ways to ground yourself and make your body feel safe to move forward. So meditation, yoga, breath work, sharing your story with someone that's supportive. They're all things that you can do to open up that creativity. And then inspire yourself, go where you have to go to be inspired. Be with people that inspire you. And the ones that don't, unfortunately, they may need to step out of the picture for a little while you find yourself.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Okay.
And on 20th of November this last year, you released your debut single, Hide and Seek. What was the inspiration for the creation of this song?
Yeah, so this song was, right in the pit of my heartbreak, my loss. So it started as this, cry to please love me, and it evolved into a song about my the darker parts of me that I guess I had suppressed, that were just begging to be seen and loved and accepted. And I guess again about self-love, like learning to love all parts of myself, not just the parts that are meant to be this or meant to be that, but everything. And the last verse of the song is, now I can breathe, there's no one else I would rather be. So it was like this opening for myself when I wrote this song, where all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, like I'm getting in touch with who I am and what I want. And that feels good. And it's a song about self-love.
Yeah, no, it's so beautiful. And I think, a lot of people that sort of go out and write these deeply personal songs do find it very difficult to go and share that. What was your experience in terms of going and putting it out in public?
It was a bit of an experiment, because honestly, it's not where I see my music going. It's not the sounds that I'm wanting to finalize or identify with completely. But it was really important to start the process of just releasing music. And I paid for a music mentor. So she really pushed me along. She's like, you just have to start. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just start. And it just keeps evolving as you evolve. Because otherwise I just would never have started.
Yeah.
You know, no right. So
yeah. And so much
yeah.
we do need that push as well. And I think that's really brave to sort of go, oh, look, I need that help, and to take that on.
Yeah.
And
That's the biggest lesson that I've learned is we can't do things by ourselves all the time. You know, we have to ask for help. It's really important.
yeah. And so how did you go about seeking that help? Was that somebody that you'd been put in touch with, or was that something
I
that just
feel
sort of
like I was intuitively led there. Like I love jazz. That's my main music that I listen to, even though I don't write jazz. And my mentor was a jazz singer. So yeah, it just happened she was my vocalist and she was also my mentor at the same time.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So as well as all this, I think it's amazing, all these things you've been doing in such a short space of time. But on top of releasing your music, you've also created a community called Yellow Tulip Boxes, which is aimed at my understanding is it's aimed at inspiring and supporting women that have been through trauma. Where did this come from? What inspired you to start this community?
Yeah, from personal experience, from when I was 18, and then also what I went through 14 months ago, that, you know, when I was looking for support, there was just so many things on offer that were actually suppressing grief rather than letting it be released and expressed. And I found it so frustrating. You know, there were so many biological things happening in my body from the grief that I couldn't understand. And I felt really disconnected from myself and what was going on. And there was just very limited information. So I love researching. So if I have a question, I will be obsessed with it until I find the answers that I need. So I had to look for alternative support, and I found some invaluable stuff that I really want to share with women in particular. Like it's relevant for everybody, but particularly for women, because I feel like women in particular have been suppressed in a lot of ways and in their grief and labeled. And so I'm really passionate about that. Yeah. So the Yellow Tulip Boxes is a self-care box for women going through the initial stages of grief. But the big project for the end of the year is to have an online support network and an education on grief as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. And it's great, you know, being able to see somebody that has been through that really difficult time and then being able to share that, something beautiful coming out of that as well, and being able to share that with other people that are experiencing similar things. So I think that's amazing. If people are listening and would like to sort of get on board, or maybe feel like you might be able to help them through your boxes and your community, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah. Look, so at the moment I've got my website, so saskialane.com.au. The website for Yellow Tulip Boxes isn't up yet. So it's on the list this year. So yeah, just email me. I would love to hear from any businesses that would want to be involved with the first lot of boxes that go out. So yeah, please contact me, even just to discuss anything like that on loss and grief. Yeah.
And there is an Instagram page as well. So I'm sure they can sort of sign up to your Instagram page and see the updates as they come out as well.
Yeah, sure. I've been a little bit slack on there at the moment.
Hey, you've been doing a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to your music a little bit, what does your creative process look like when you are creating your music, when you're writing your songs and when you're putting it together for this one, when you were putting together the release? What did that process look like?
So of writing the song or the whole thing?
Whichever you would like to talk about.
Yeah, maybe writing a song. So I think For me, songwriting's always been something that I can't really explain. I don't read music. I'm self-taught. I feel like it's this unexplainable energy where I just hop on there and something just feels right with the chords and the progression, and the song just writes itself. It's like this magic, I guess, that can happen, and it can happen very quickly in a few hours. Those songs I love. Other songs, it can take months where I'll leave them and come back to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I don't know how I write songs. It's just
It just comes together.
Yeah.
No, that's beautiful. And so when you've gone through the process of releasing, who's been involved in the process when you've been writing, recording, producing, other than yourself?
Yeah. So I was really fortunate. I had an acquaintance that was getting into producing, Shane Luke, and he was like, let's just do a collaboration and see how it goes. And so that was Hide and Seek. So it was, oh my goodness, I forget his name. There was a master involved as well.
If you think of it later, let me know and we'll add it, add it to the notes.
So it was just the three of us. This one was very, very raw, just very acoustic. So not many people.
Oh, great. But do you feel like maybe next time you would do any of that differently, or were you really happy with how the process went?
So I'm planning on releasing an EP this year. So I've got in contact with a producer that I've been wanting to get on my songs for a while now. And I guess it's the process of deciding on whether I want to get a band on board or hire session musicians to play on the album. It's very different to Hide and Seek. So singer-songwriter feel, but just with a little bit more grunts and a little bit more edginess and a bit more radio friendly as well.
Beautiful. We can't wait to hear it either.
I can't really think. I just know this process is a lot bigger than Hide and Seek.
Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. It's very exciting to look forward to that next thing as well. We're looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah, thank you.
So has there been anything along that releasing journey that maybe you would change from your experiences, or any challenges that you experienced along that journey?
Look, I think every musician relates. It's just that self-doubt. It's like, do I really want to reveal this to the world? Is it good enough? What if nobody hears it? Oh, well, big deal. No one hears it. Like, the point is that you're doing it. So I think for me, it's just the inner critic and the self-doubt.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, like, my thing that I've written on my wall for 2021 is do less overthinking and do more action. It's just like there's so much more that we can get done when we're not worried about what other people think.
Yeah. And I think it's an important thing to highlight as well, because so many people, particularly creative people, I think, are very much in that space of critiquing everything. There's not a clear line of this is good, this is not. Like, what are some of the things that you've had to sort of face or do to kind of get over some of that, or not get over, but deal with some of those thoughts?
So back on one of my earlier comments, how it's really important that you surround yourself with people that are inspiring you and supporting you in what you do. Like, don't share your dreams with small-minded people. Protect them with your life and share them with people that are willing to let you dream big and believe in you and love talking about it with you. And, the part of you that thinks you're not good enough, well, that's okay. Like, just honor that and just go, I'm not good enough, but I'm going to do it anyway. Rather than going, oh, no, I'm never going to be good enough, so I'm never going to try. Like, well, I can tell you there's people that have, reached their goals on much less than what you're doing.
Yeah.
When you look around, the people that have this tremendous talent that are too scared to share it with the world, and then you have others that really don't have that much natural talent and haven't done that much to get there, but they've believed in themselves. So I think that's the big difference, is you know, you're not always going to believe in yourself. Sometimes you've got to have people around you that do.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful and so important, I think, for everybody to hear.
Yeah.
So moving forward, if everything worked out in your favor and things sort of moved along in the way that you would like them to, where would you like to end up with your
Yeah, I
music?
have my 10-year vision.
So
I'm not
planned
sure
out.
of the world. Basically, every single day now in my life, I realize life is short. I like to live my life like every day is my best day. So I have creativity, I have connection, I have joy, I have dance. I have my dream of having, an apartment in New York and Paris and being able to collaborate with other musicians and to be on tour 1 year and writing the next, like everybody, I want to make it big, and I want to share what I write with people. But that's the goal, but you have to enjoy the process. So every day I just focus on enjoying today.
Yeah, which is amazing. Like, I think so many more of us should be able to stop and just sort of say, I'm grateful for what's here today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing that we have this opportunity, that we live in this era, that we can have these creative careers and opportunities that our ancestors just didn't have.
Absolutely. So do you have any, I know you spoke about, you've got your EP coming out. So for future releases and things like that, when can we expect your EP to sort of hit?
Yeah. So the EP somewhere around November, December.
Okay.
And then on tour 2022 summer.
Fantastic. And so from your experiences, what kind of advice do you think that you could give to other artists that might be watching this today?
Ooh, actually, hang on, let me get it. Thanks for that. To inspire myself every day, I have manifestation cards, and this was the one that I picked up today. I don't know if you can see that. I'm the dreamer of my dreams. They are mine and mine alone. I nurture them and I chase them, and no one can stop me from achieving them. Wow. So that's what I would say, is you are in control of what your reality becomes, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it looks like it came up just on the right day as well. So
I know.
Thank you.
They're incredible. Every day they're great.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. If people want to find those cards, whereabouts did you pick those up from?
Yeah, it's Kiki. It's like that stationery.
Oh, yeah. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Is there anything else before we finish up? Is there anything else that you might like to share with our audience, and also where can people find you?
Share. I don't think so. I think I've covered a lot. Just keep believing in yourself, basically. Yeah. Just don't give up on yourself. There's no story that people want to hear that's about the perfect life. The downs and the hard times and those points in life where you're fighting tooth and nail to get what you want, that's part of your story. So don't give up in those times. Just know that that's part of the journey. So, yeah, just embrace it.
And it's been such an incredible message of positivity today. And I think so many people watching can get so much out of this. So thank you so much for joining us. And we really look forward to seeing what comes next for you.
Thank you. So in answer to your question, so you can check out my socials on Saskia Lane _music on Instagram and Saskia Lane Music on Facebook.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Saskia.